What's up, guys? Victor Altamirano here. Welcome to the M.A.C. Welcome back. Today we're gonna go over a bow and arrow choke and an armbar off the bow and arrow choke. I'm here with Jose at VFit. He's got a fight coming up next weekend, the March 25th, and as do I for UFC. And which one's yours for?
Husky Fat Promotion.
That's right. So he's going for another belt, and this is his jiu-jitsu journey. So we're gonna go over the bow and arrow choke. Now, a lot of people already know the bow and arrow choke, but for those of you who don't know, we're gonna go over the principles of the bow and arrow choke. The principles are this. Before inserting the bow and arrow choke, I wanna make sure that the hand that's under the arm opens the lapel this way. This allows the lapel to be slim enough for me to not only grab it more comfortably, because then it goes in the grooves of my fingers, but also so that when I pull, it's not really a thick line, but rather a thin one against his throat. Now, another thing to do upon the bow and arrow choke and the grip is to attach your elbow to your hip. A defense very common for the bow and arrow choke is for him to immediately look for my elbow. As I begin to insert the bow and arrow choke, by lifting my elbow, he exits his head from underneath my hand. This is a very common escape from the bow and arrow. That's why it's very important that as soon as you get your grip, you attach your elbow to your hip, hiding that elbow and making it impossible for them to go under it. So here, very common, what we want to change is this elbow going downwards. The other hand grabs the sleeve, right here on the pants sleeve. Now, from here, my elbows, both of them now, are gonna be attached to my hips. That way he can't get underneath them. This will lead into my transition, where whichever side is grabbing the pants is the foot that goes over the hip, controlling this. This leg then will go over the shoulder, collapsing here. Now, all I have to do now is keep pulling my shoulders to my hips and then stretch out into my partner taps. All right, now let's assume that for some reason I didn't follow rule number 1, which was keeping my elbow attached to my hip. Now from here, my partner will exit his head here. As soon as this happens, I no longer have the bow and arrow, but I do have a position for the armbar. I will immediately release the hand that's grabbing the pants and grab right here to the arm. You can do a Kimura grip, or you can simply make sure you control the arm while you transition this leg that was once over his shoulder over his head. This gives you a traditional armbar, pitching your knees together, your heels to your butt, and then making sure his thumb is facing upwards while you execute the armbar. Now make sure you tap, especially on joint locks. If you don't tap, whenever you're getting strangled, you pass out, cool. If you don't tap in joint locks, you're out for months. So, very slowly, my partner taps when he feels it. Yeah, you won't go to sleep in joint locks. That's the bad part. You feel every single of it. So, that's the bow and arrow one more time. The most important part again, opening the lapel to make it thin enough for the grip and for the execution, grabbing the pants, switching my feet to control the hips and the shoulders, and then making sure my elbow is not flare out, but rather pulled into my hip. We stretch, my partner taps. Good. Now let's say that I didn't put my elbow there upon executing this. My partner begins to exit. I immediately put my hand here, and my leg that he exit out of goes over his head instead. And then here's the armbar.
Nice.
I'm Victor Altamirano. This is Jose Montelongo. And we'd like to give you a shout out to Gameness for this awesome black gi, this awesome belt. We got it from here. This is the A1F fitted. So if you are an A1, but for some reason you like a little more fitted, you're just long but not short, then this is a great gi. It keeps you nice and tight for sleeve grabs and, keeping it real here with Gameness. Thank you very much.